Oh dear. This is my 1950 something DKW Hobby / Manhurin if you're French. Look at it in all its £48 glory. I bought this from Bedford Auction. It was in a collection of similarly East and West German stuff that had clearly been in the shed for a very, very, very long time. I'd say it's a survivor. I suppose it's all in roughly one piece still. Would you like to have a little look around? You'll see as we go through. I mean, it is a survivor. It's in one piece. Look, the front wheel's missing. That's from somewhere else. We've got a missing seat. Patent blue. Look at that in there. Doesn't even look bad. I don't know where the seat went, but considering the hinge is snapped off, I'm gonna say it was a bit rusty at the time. It is wonderfully original, isn't it? I took this thing, if you saw it at Rustival, I took it with me there. Oh, the key lock's still there. And it was very popular. Some people even looked at the Land Rover behind it, most people looked at this. Because we love rust, we love patina, don't we? There was no V5. That's all been sent off. It's just a bit of a shame, isn't it? Auto Union. We'll get into that later. That's vintage. I wonder if I can get some money for a vintage L plate. One of the foot pegs for the passenger is snapped off. The manual for this proudly proclaims that it's for 2, which I think means you get 1.5 horsepower each. How many miles have we done? See, that's a lot of miles when you're doing what, 32 miles an hour? But look, I mean something's gonna work. I'm sure you're going to agree with me. I think this was poking out of a falling down shed, wasn't it? That end was in, that end was out. It's just such a shame that it didn't get sort of taken out of the shed by, I'm assuming, like a clearance company. That's what Bedford Auction get a lot of. A few years before, because if it was all like this, it would look great, wouldn't it? All oiled up. It's got, it had heated seats as well, amazingly. Look, here's the half, that's where you put the wood. Does that work? Look at that. Right, would you like to see the power barn? But that's decapitated a few West Germans, isn't it? Look at this. This is my favourite bit though. Avon Spartan scooter. And a very rusty wheel. Look how thin my spikes are. Yes. This is important on these. This is probably the whole thing's claim to fame. It's the first CVT. I think it was the first CVT moped made. No, I think all mopeds are CVTs now, aren't they? So that is something important. I guess this is a kind of an West German Honda Cub. Can I get away with that? You can just imagine, the war is over. We've got a job, not working on tanks anymore. Sorry Tommy, we didn't mean it. But working at a sausage factory, and we've got our new moped to get us there. Built by Auto Union. That was in German, by the way. I know the accent was perfect. I do work with Germans, as you can tell. But there we are. That is you might have seen it in the back of shot while we've been playing with that. See lots of videos. We're getting there. But I fancied a little change, so we're going to play with this for a bit. I'm going to get a pressure washer. Who fancies cleaning that up and seeing what we actually have here. I haven't even looked at the engine. I'm sure it's not seized or anything. Look. Engine mount. Chain. It does actually roll. There's the reason the clutch is cable tied down. The clutch actually works. Amazingly. It's even, look, it's basically a lawnmower. I mean, the fact that that's filled with stuff, what does that, does it bode well? I'm sure it bodes well, right? Let's break out the pressure washer. So, why does it have an Audi badge? Well, let's go from the top. DKW, Das kleine Wunder, or the Little Marvel, started making bikes from the early 20s. By the 30s, they were the largest bike builder in the world. And you haven't heard of them. Now, oddly, the history of this German marque goes a little bit shady in the 40s. Don't know why. But by 54, this little wonder popped out. The Hobby. Now, the Audi connection. Well, the number of rings is the key here. Auto Union was the amalgamation of Porsche, DKW, Wanderer and Audi. Hence the 4 rings. You may recognise the Auto Union name probably more from 1930s Formula 1 cars. Well, races, it wasn't Formula 1 then. But I digress, I'm getting on a tangent. But yes, they started off as 4 motorcycle manufacturers. He has the optional drain holes. All the rubber's still in there. It'll be fine, it'll run. So we get back in the garage and I've actually just covered every single fixing in lubricant. I know I'm being hopeful, alright, yes, but it's worth it. I'm trying to read that as well. Anyone knows what that would say? Dorset, supplied by TT Winner, Bob Foster, 72 Ashley Road, Parkstone, Dorset. Ooh, okay. Some research is required. But let's get you in the workshop and let's see if we can breathe any life into you. So this is what we've got. There's good points and bad points. I mean, there's some seat material there. There's a seat pan that's very thin. Generally, actually, it's not that rusty. Stop laughing in the back. Because I assume it must have been made out of fairly decent metal. There's a little hole down here that will need tapping, and there's a little hole at the front where the front tin work meets the floorboard. That's all fine. I think the frame's okay. We're going to have to replace those. You see, they so that one's fared okay, but that one sort of turned into, I guess it's monkey metal, isn't it? It's an alloy. It's just corroded. But amazingly, that's cable tied, so I can move it around because the clutch works. That moves. That moves. The throttle moves. The head bearing feels okay. It's going to be a long time until we know if that works. If you look in here, you read what that says? DKW Auto Union. Damn, Kraftstoff. It's what DKW stands for. If you can see in there, that's very clean because it obviously would have had oil in it. Because in this, you pour them separately. You pour the oil in and the obviously fuel in, and it's got separated baffles in there or something. It actually mixes them all together. So that's the hole we have down there. So that's not great. And that is, I mean, that's thin and fairly weak because there was no metalwork behind that. So I imagine that was always quite bad. The other one is the accessory drain hole there. But if you actually look at the, when you look at it, it's not really that bad. What else? As I said, the front end is okay because I think that was undercover. And coming around this side, we've got similar down there. That side's okay. Obviously that rusted because it tilts that way when the side stands down. Front end's fine. Then underneath, in the shadows, gearbox turns, chain's not stuck. See? This is a CVT system, so basically that belt spins, the clutch just pulls this pulley apart, and as this spins, these change size, like your mountain bike, your front and rear cocks really, and that's how you do your speed. Ugh. Hopefully that wasn't live. Well, I mean, the exhaust seem better days. So I think the first thing to do is I'm going to take the rear body off, and then we can get to the engine a bit. If we can split the engine out from the frame easy enough, I think that should make it a lot easier to muck about with. Because let's be honest, it's probably a little bit stuck, and I promise I haven't looked yet, I don't know. If that is stuck, we could just put like a, what? How big does the KTM single go? It'd be fun, wouldn't it? And we could just leave the 1950s tyre on it. Don't know, I won't do that. Okay. Uno bolt. And let's take that off. I guess it's all metro. Oh my god. Do you believe that? All I've done to these bolts is cover them in silicone spray. After we pressure wash them, that may have to come out with a hammer. But do you believe how easy that came out? I mean, I'm not quite sure it's going to come out of the holes as easy. Alright, that's insane. That is unbelievable. Do you believe that? Look at that. Is that not unbelievable? If the rest of it comes apart like that, well, I will take it. Off with its head! I've upgraded your mountings, do you like it? Ugh. What's that? Right, we have a cable, I think. It is in a connector block. I think we can probably, the wiring, that's not as good. Ugh. Well, that's a bit easier, isn't it? That is the beast. That's a 75cc engine. It's got 2 strokes, apparently. Poor thing. And has a magneto, so the battery's optional. It's got optional electricity. God, look at that. Do I know if it turns over? The inertia tries to turn, but do another one there. No. Yes, it tries to turn, but it ain't turning. Now, shall we get the plug out and have a look inside? Because the intake, being a 2-stroke, goes into like a sleevey valvey thing, doesn't it? Or something. I didn't grow up with 2-strokes, okay? I'm not like a lot of motorcycle people. I'm not like a lot of motorcycle people. I did not grow up with 2-strokes. I have no idea how this works. So, we can get we'll get a bit of tin off so we can have a look. We can sort of see the teeny tiny engine a bit. First of all, though, I'm going to put that back through the hole it came out of. That is still full of grease. That hinge. And look, I'm sorry, this is very boring. Look how much metal is on that nut. Don't get that no more, do you? They actually, that I think has been stoved to self-lock it. I don't know if that's going to focus, but they basically bash the end of it, and that will stop it coming undone. How not interesting. Let's get that off, see if we get the plug out. I'll get the lube. So, a bit of shock. Annoyingly, all I've got is silicone spray at the moment. What I did straight after we cleaned it was spray everything with this. And actually, it seems really good. Okay, right. Do you believe that? I don't. What? What on earth? You saw that too, right? It wasn't just me. So our problem is we can't get the plug out because this casing is going to have to come off first. So what we're going to try and do is try and shock them loose a bit. With this. Seriously? Really? Yeah, I mean they're already What? I mean, look at the head of that. This is easier to take apart than a modern bike. I mean, that one won't because it's in pieces, but it also has a flat on it. Look at the bolt. What's going on? Should we just make sure? What a fantastic design. It's completely, so as you pull it, see that? It's very dirty. As you pull it, they spring out and go into the teeth. Oh, how cool. I'm liking this thing more and more. Ouch! Oh. Is that a good sign? I don't know. I mean, it's two-stroke. It's got 2 electrodes, look. Everyone ready? That doesn't look bad. We're going to get out the endoscope. Right, we're going into screen record mode. Hello. Look, you can look at yourselves. How do you look? It's not good, this thing, is it? I've got a bit of rust in there. Can we go in? How do I go to side view? That's a lot of rust. Is it all off the cylinder head then? But the cylinder head on these is just a cap, isn't it? Because it's two-stroke. Jesus, where's all that from then? We're never going to get all that rust out of there, so I think we'll have to pop the little head off. What? Either someone took it apart, found it was knackered. What's going on? Found it was knackered, then put it back together perfectly without loosening a single bolt. And who believes that? Not me. Without losing a single washer even, or bolt. And then chucked in the garage. Do you believe that? No, me neither. Now you're watching this, so I'm going to guess that you're into this kind of thing. But don't you think it's cool that we're the first people to probably look in here since it was built? Look how cute it is! Look how many washers it's got. What? Where's the rust come from? The engine looks perfect. Look at that! That's the rubbish I was seeing. So I'm glad we took it off, because that could have really, you know, if we came up and scratched that, that would have been ruined. Look! This thing's brand new! Even the this is unbelievable! You all saw the state of this thing, right? When I started. Look at that gasket! Oh, we're going to have to agree with the myth of German build quality, at least from back in that day anyway. Back in the day. They really built these things, didn't they? How? Spark plug's bent. But how? Let's not damage that. So you can see the deposits on there. That's what I can see on the camera. It's brand new. Oh my god. I don't believe it. Okay. So we know the bottom ends, if you noticed that by the way, obviously we are seized into the bore. Because without the cylinder head on, we are just going to push the cylinder itself up and down, aren't we? But now that is nice and clean. If I just run just want to get all the rubbish out. We clean it up, we'll put the head back on. And then we can actually fill it with some lubricant. I might tell you what we could just do. I've got a little bit of wood. 'Cause that's not seized from weather. We don't want to damage anything, I just want to see if it will move. So, in that case, we don't want to break anything. This was actually quite a laugh until I realised it was quite good. And we're going to leave it soaking. I think that's the safest way ahead. For what was seconds for you, it was a few days for me, so she's been soaking. So we're going to see if it's made any difference. I thought I'd save you the gratuitous hammering and such, because, surprise, surprise, soaking didn't work, because it never works. So, we're going to move on to the power of fire. Now, it's time to flambe. So we're going to try and heat up just the actual cylinder sleeve, or whatever you'd call it, and see if that'll expand. Oh, internet. Whilst I make a tasty DKW creme brulee, I don't suppose you could just tap subscribe, would you? That'd be lovely. Thank you. That's toasty. Right, I should have got a piece of wood first. Now, whilst I don't spare you the gratuitous hammering in this part, I wanted to just sort of explain the process. What we're doing is repeatedly heating, hammering, cooling with oil or lubricant or whatever, over and over and over again. What we're trying to do is expand the cast iron cylinder barrel and trying to then cool down the piston so it shrinks. At the same time, whilst that happens, it will then draw the oil that I'm spraying in down around the piston, in between the barrel and stuff, through capillary action. And hopefully that might just mean it'll free off. Right, we've made a new former. Hold on. No! It's moved! Yes! It's still quite hard to move. No! It's worked! It's... What? Yes! Yes! It looks sort of not, doesn't look that badish. Now what we're faffing around with here, thank you Sophie, is just spacing the barrel up a bit, because I can't draw the piston all the way out, because obviously at bottom dead centre the piston is still in the barrel, because where else would it go? So we're just trying to do that because it's still a bit too seized to freely move up and down.
Ow. Bloody wheel.
Huh? Oh, did you hit your head
Twice.
on a TVR?
Yeah, twice.
Oh dear. Oh, I can see the gap! Oh yeah, that's got it. Yeah! High five! Yeah, high five! Yeah! Off the road since 1960. But it moving isn't obviously very impressive when you try and get it running. So, you need to just clean up the bore of that. Clean up the piston. And then introduce some fuel to it. I do have the world's smallest carburettor. It's a Bing 14mm or something like that. It's getting exciting, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to clean that up with a bit of Scotch-Brite and then we will reconvene. There's lots of believing or not believing in this video how well that's come out. We haven't got the exhaust stub out, but we did have a slight casting break. There's a weird threaded plug in there. But I'm sure we can work something out with that. Amazing. The other thing that came straight out is the gudgeon pin without any issue at all. And there you go, the piston. So we're going to give this a clean up because the rings, as you see, are a little bit stuck. We might need to leave that to soak. This is all old degreaser. Why is that so? Oh, why is it so thick? So we're going to let that soak because I need to free those piston rings up a bit, and then we can actually reassemble it, and then we can see if it runs. Make a bit of an executive decision here because I'm worried I'm gonna snap the piston rings, and I have no idea where I'd get new ones from because they are very stuck. I've got a little bit of movement in them. Yeah, I'm really worried. They've been soaking for ages. I think they're going to snap if I'm not careful. Oh, there we go. But that's still really... Oh. That is still really tight. I mean, that feels fine there. I mean, that feels absolutely... Yeah, I mean, that feels good there. But then at the bottom, that's really tight. That can't be right, can it? But then there is absolutely no wear, or sorry, not wear. There's no marks at the bottom, but unless that is just not a swept area, hence why it's still tight. Well, I guess we know it's not a swept area because we had such fun trying to get the damn thing out, didn't we? Excuse the instant gasket, but the bottom gasket was only paper. So, arg. I don't think it's going to matter too much. So I've just popped the gudgeon pin back in, roughly lined it up. Now we're going to try. There you go. And put one circlip back in. The lesser known knight of the round table there, circlip. Drop that on. There is an arrow on the crown of the piston. Yeah, which points to the front of the bike. As soon as that's tacked over, we'll put it on. I know it's not like if I can find piston rings for it, I'd like to change them. Really. Bloop. But what I don't want to do is go mental trying to free them off, break them, and then not be able to find any, because, well, that's that, isn't it? Yeah, the other thing we'll see once I've got it on, I just want to see, because you can see it's clean as anything now. That's just scoring from where it's been sitting, but it's just tight down that bottom part, so I don't really know, to be honest, what that means. We will see. And if we can get parts, we'll just probably take like 5 minutes to take apart, as you've seen. Why am I even doing this? I don't know. I think we all have this we all just have a thing, don't we, with seeing old stuff work or not. I've sort of done this the wrong way around, haven't I? Alright. Need one of those hydraulic lifts. Circlip. Come to us, Circlip. Right. That's what we're doing, isn't it? Wow. I mean, it's enough to push the oil back out, so let's just get a load of moving. Well, I think that answers the question about that tight spot. Obviously, so obviously that tight spot on the bottom is because it's not a swept area, isn't it? So, right, that's better. Ah. The genuine 1960s dirt. Oh no, I washed all the genuine 1960s dirt off, didn't I? Bugger. When is it worth more, do you reckon? With the barn find rubbish on it, or actually as a working moped that no one wants because it's got a 3 horsepower? There's someone in one of the groups that has one of these, and they're putting like a 150 or 125cc water-cooled Peugeot engine in it. Be fun, wouldn't it? Because it looked cool. Looks like a Lambretta, but it's cooler because it's not a Lambretta. Not there's anything wrong with those, it's just, you know, everyone has them. Who's got a Auto Union? Did you hear that compression? Cool, okay. Next bet. Do we have spark? God. This thing's ruined. We didn't have any spark, so I span it over with the impact. And we should get a spark on that plug. So we have this thingamawhat's-it. All the Aldi rings. Obviously auto union rings, not Aldi rings. This has very little to do with the Q5, as you may have guessed. Right, now we're going to have in here some points, I think. Let's see if we can get you in. Let's see if we can get you in on the action. Right. So inside there we have some points. We might be able to clean those up, but I think what I prefer to do is to pop this outer cover off. Can you hear the loads of compression? That's great, isn't it? I know the oil down the bore will help, but so now whilst I'm faffing around trying to take that off, let's talk about the electrical system, because it's 6 volt but it has no battery at all. So the flywheel that I'm strangely poking with a stick there basically spins over with the engine, and it has some permanent magnets in it. They pass by stationary coils, the stator, and this creates a magnetic field that induces basically a low current in a coil, which is then used to trigger a high voltage pulse which fires the spark plug. The centre of the flywheel has the cam on it, which opens and shuts the points, and that sorts out your timing. There's a very small amount of adjustment in the timing that I think I've probably got very wrong at some point in here, because you can actually rotate the whole magneto a little bit. The magneto also generates enough electricity to do your lights, horn and stuff. To switch it off, because you don't have an ignition key, you may have noticed, it has a lawnmower pull start. The multifunction switch up on the handlebars has a button that just grounds the magneto, and then the bike stops. So there we go. There we go. Easy as that. Only had to dismantle the puller to get it in. Can I get it out? There we go. That's why it's best to leave the nut on so it doesn't go flying. There we go. So this is almost like your alternator. So that's the outside of the casing, where your magnets go. So the points are exactly as per your normal ignition system. Let's do a little screwdriver. You can see they are very, very dirty. But this, also we've got a little capacitor there, I think. It all looks in good condition though. So for now, what I think we'll do, we'll open those points up, we'll give those a clean, then we will have to just push our, I don't know, is it a fly? So I guess it's a flywheel as well. We'll have to push that back over to actually give those something to run on. Then see if we can get a spark. If not, the problem is a magneto, so I know they can lose the magnetism over time, and there's a way to sort of, I think there's a way to sort of wake it all up. I'm not sure, but we'll start with cleaning the points because I know how to do that, and then we'll go from there. Oh, hello. One thing we are just doing, I thought I'd bring you in on, is we're going to put a new end on our spark plug lead. I always keep old ones. I don't know why. HT leads rarely fail, but if you remember, that had a horrible end on it, so I've put a new cap on there, which rather than this, which actually this horrible thing was just sort of screwed in to displace the mesh in there, has an absolutely huge resistance across those points. So we've got a more modern one, which will fit much better, hopefully. And the way all these work, it's quite simply, they smush in like that. And that is the technical term to smush, by the way. And then that is going to get a much better connection onto there. So before, between here and there, we had a high resistance. We now have, look at that, much better. So we made an improvement. I don't know if that was the reason. I would have thought we'd still see it's a very high voltage spark. I would have thought we'd still see it jump like that. Okay, but it's bedtime. Anyway, it's bedtime, so we're gonna go walk the dogs probably, and then check back with you tomorrow.